Are you hitting record?
You got it. You're on.
All right. Thanks everyone for jumping on tonight. We are very grateful and very lucky to have newly recognized 5-star Colleen Eddy, just achieved today, joining us. She is the head of her team, Dream Corp, and she's also part of our bigger team that we work with through Bearcat. So she is leading this team that's now 84th out of over 300,000 coaches. She's going to talk to us about mastering the mindset, and she's just awesome energy that's contagious. And she'll talk about a little bit about living life by design, which if you follow her, you can see that she's achieved that and she's done that. She's been able to leave her full-time job, to become a full-time Beachbody coach. And like I said, we're very grateful that she's on, and we'll hand it over to you, Colleen. And at the end, just open it up for questions, comments, and all that stuff.
Okay, cool. Hi guys, welcome. So this is my favorite call in the whole wide world to do, because everyone has all the same how-tos in this business for the most part. We get the same training, we hear the same things, we watch the same YouTube videos, but I felt like there was something different with the successful people that I had met in my life. I'm actually gonna go back and I'll introduce my story and tell my background in a second, but I just have to get this out about how passionate I am, because I really just go crazy. So hopefully you guys are ready for a complete earful right now, because mindset really is the thing that changed my life. We read all the same books, but I was like, there has to be an advantage for these successful people. And I came from a place in my life where no one will believe me, but I was the biggest Debbie Downer. You could not talk to me in a positive light. I probably wouldn't like you if you were the happy, bubbly, crazy, energetic person that I am now. I probably used to hate me. And now I finally stopped living the victim role of life always attacking me, because I was sick of it. And so I'll rewind a little bit and share with you guys my story, because a lot of you guys probably don't even know where I've come from or who the heck I am. So I'm going to be 30 in August. What month are we in? In August, so very soon. And I grew up in Massachusetts. I now live in Lake Tahoe, California. It's so beautiful out here. I'm very grateful to be here. And I went to college, got good grades, and got that fancy corporate job that we're all told that we're kind of supposed to have, right? And on the East Coast, the mentality is a little bit different than what I've learned from out here. It basically, and please don't take offense to this, but this was my awful Debbie Downer perspective of life. I thought that I was supposed to play college sports, which was the only great part, have a fancy resume, get a fancy corporate job, buy a house, get married, have kids, get fat, get wrinkly, get old, be unhappy. I swear to you, that was my mentality. So as the years went on, I was a horrible, angry, upset person, because I was like, well, this is just going to get worse. And I don't know why I felt like that. I really can't explain why. But my poor parents, my poor friends, I feel so bad. I, out of college, got a corporate job with Verizon Wireless, which, as you guys know, is a very successful, large, huge company. And I love technology. I was a waitress through college, and a manager approached me one day who was sitting at my table, and she's like, I think you have great customer service. You'd be great at my store. And now this is in 2006 when, there was no iPhone, there was no smartphone. And so I knew if I was getting in with a technology company right out of college, I was doing big things. And I did really well. I was a sales rep. I moved up to management. I managed one of the largest stores in New England when I was 23. I think back and it's just crazy, but I was totally sucked in. And I really got the itch to travel when I turned 24. I was so bored. I lived near, I didn't live in Boston, but in the Boston area. And I was just so bored. I felt like all everyone did was drink and party and eat and do it all over again. And I was just like, there has to be more. So I started traveling. And when I got to California, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get out there. So luckily, Luckily, I was able to transfer my Verizon job at the time. And when I transferred the job out here, it was the best lifestyle move for me, but the worst career move, because the boss I ended up working for was the devil. Straight up the devil. She made my life a living hell every single day. I experienced crazy thoughts. I experienced depression. I did things that I never thought I'd do. I was just really unhappy. My relationship was in shambles. I had stomach ulcers. I mean, dude, rock bottom. It was awful. And I just thought I had to do it every single day. It never even dawned on me. This manager, the devil manager, she comes into work and she's like, Colleen, I have this great opportunity for you. And it's at another store because they need your help. You're a great manager. Why don't you go over there? And I was like, yes, I'll do anything to get out of, the workplace with her. And so when I get there, I end up helping the store, doing everything I'm supposed to, and I get laid off. I walk in one day and my career of 6 years was gone. Poof, gone, ripped out from underneath me. It was so slimy how it happened. My manager knew the store was closing, so she transferred me there knowing I was going to lose my job. And so now, if you have a job or you know someone that has a job that it's like all eggs in one basket and they walk in one day and your job's gone, you really don't think that happens to people, but it did. It happened to me. And although it was a blessing in disguise, it was one of the biggest pills I ever had to swallow forever. So when I lost that job, I was like, I'm not going back there. I can't. Like, this is my chance to change my life. And although I was $20,000 in credit card debt, never even mind anything else debt, just credit cards, and I made good money. I basically used my money as my retail therapy, and I traveled and I just racked up a bunch of debt. So I knew I had to change my life. So I started to look around, and I met, my upline is Elizabeth Harkey. She is a 10-star diamond. She's awesome. And we went to high school together, and I watched her change her life in a year and a half with Beachbody. And I don't know what came over me, but when I learned what her experience was and what her success was like with this and what her future was looking like, all of a sudden I was like, I'm not going back to Verizon. And so I lived off of Beachbody income, which is, not a lot in the beginning, for, the first year. And thank God my second year was a lot better. But my first year, it was so hard. But my fiance and I call him Mr. Rainbows and Butterflies because he's born and raised California. He thinks everything is just like, yeah, think positive and cool things will happen. He's all about manifesting things into your life. And so he's changed my life, obviously, because I came from Debbie Downer to go be happy all the time, right? So that's kind of my story with Beachbody. I honestly signed up and was like, if someone else has done this before, I have to believe that I can do it too. That's why mastering your mindset is so important. And that's why I want to talk to you guys about it today. Because like I already said, all the how-tos in the world, I could say, this is how you'll hit diamond, A, B, C, D. None of that matters if you don't believe you can. Now, this is where a lot of people put the brakes on and they go, ugh, hocus pocus, positivity, belief, barf, I don't want to hear it. I'm just asking you guys to be open-minded and willing to maybe give this a try, because a lot of the things that I'm going to say today were things that I used to talk myself out of. So maybe you don't believe it or you're not willing to listen, but just try, okay? So there actually is a difference between successful people and unsuccessful people. There's a million things, but there's one obvious thing, and it's good thinking. Okay, so what does good thinking even mean? It's honestly thinking about your thinking. And so I kind of started to trip my team out a little bit because I really got deep into this whole thought process. And so literally your day is shaped by the moment that you wake up and put your feet on the ground. As adults, we're conditioned to turn the alarm clock off, maybe check our phone, hop in the shower, wash our face. Like, you have a routine because you're so, we get tunnel vision. You have this one path that we go on, and rarely do we stray and even think about what the heck we're doing. We just go through the motions, right? So when I knew I had to start thinking about my thinking, it started to really freak me out. I want to give you guys an example of exactly what I'm talking about, how good thinking really can make a difference. And you can apply this to life and business. That's why I love this topic, because I think this business isn't just about business. It's about changing people's lives. So when I can intertwine those two things, I get really excited. Okay, so here's my example. There are two sisters, Sister A and Sister B. They're hanging out at the kitchen table, and one sister has been working so hard to get into this doctorate program so that she can advance to the next level in her career. She needs this, it's her passion, and as we all know, graduate programs are not easy. So she gets her acceptance letter, she's so excited, she worked so hard for this, and she's celebrating. While Sister B is sitting next to her and looks at her and says, wow, that really sucks. You have 4 more years of school and you just graduated college. So just like every other scenario, we are presented with a thought that comes to our mind. You can be Sister A or you can be Sister B. You can look at work as being a task, a daunting task. You can look at it as being a pain. Oh, I don't want to put in that work. Or you can look at it as an opportunity to grow and to learn. And it all stems from the very first thing that pops into your head. Because we're conditioned to think and believe, as we've learned over the years, oh, well, no, kind of like how Beachbody's a scam, right? Oh, no, yeah, I know that stuff. But then once you get to know it and you stop and you break it down, you're like, oh, that's what it is. So if you actually start to think about your thinking, you can change your perspective, you can totally transform your life, your business. All the things that we've been missing are up here. And the thing about coaching is it starts in our hearts, I think, and then it goes to our brains, and then it goes to our fingertips because we put in the action, right? I think a lot of us get stuck up here. And so when I said, okay, I got to 1 star, how do I get to 2 star? You start kind of freaking out a little bit. Or I got to emerald, how do I get to diamond? You start freaking out a little bit. In those moments is what I'm going to talk to you guys about today. I want you to think about your thinking and learn how to master your mindset. It's straight chaos right now planning this wedding, let me tell you. It's just been crazy, and I'm doing it all by myself. So this business, mastering my mindset, has helped me change my life to plan my wedding. So I want to give you guys an example, a personal example actually now, of why mastering your mindset is so important, because I'm sure that there's a lot of you that maybe still are just like, yeah, whatever, cool. But I can tell you why it saved my life actually in October of 2014. My fiance, he's a baby. I'm going to be 30. He's just turned 24. So in October 2014, he was only 23, and he got diagnosed with testicular cancer. I tell you guys this because you know what? Life is crazy, and it's going to throw you curveballs. Your best coaches are going to quit. Crazy things happen in life, and if you're not prepared up here, usually that's when people crumble. Now, so when he actually text messaged me that he had cancer, and I was like, what? We weren't even married yet. He's the healthiest dude ever. And it was a moment for me to say, you know what? We're going to kick cancer's butt. And so him and I just looked at each other when we finally got to meet up. And I was like, we're going to be fine. This is all good. And Mr. Positivity just acted like nothing was wrong. Now, I had the crossroad moment of, do I freak out? Do I cry? Do I go in the corner? Do I tell people, okay, business, you have to go on hold. My family comes first. Or do I take this obstacle and I show it who's boss? Now, cancer is a very dramatic example, but I share that with you guys because some people just think that, the highlight reels of being a coach are easy. I've planned a wedding, this cancer. I mean, it's just been straight crazy for us. So as a business owner, as the CEO of your own business, you have to be prepared. There are going to be days that, I've lost 3 of my best coaches, and I'm like, why? I would be a 10-star diamond if all my coaches hadn't decided that this isn't for them, even though they're successful. You just have to keep going. There's going to be slow seasons. There's going to be a million things that happen. You have to focus on what you can control. So let's say it's the last day of the month, and you're at Success Club 4 or Success Club 9 if you're going for 10. There's 6 hours left in the day. Do you just say, oh, I didn't hit Success Club? Or do you do everything in your power to at least to try to hit Success Club? You have to be proactive, and that's all part of your mindset. Because a lot of us think about this business as actions when it all starts up here. You have that 0.5 seconds to make the decision of, oh, I didn't hit Success Club. Or you have that decision for 0.5 seconds to say, I'm going to spend the next 4 hours following up with people and doing what I can to help others. Okay, so that's the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people. Excuse me. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the how. So how do I master my mindset? Because you told me that it's all fine and dandy to master it, but how do I do it? So just like working out, your mindset takes a lot of time and self-discipline. It's so rewarding in the end when you master your mindset because it's so powerful. You literally feel unstoppable. Like I feel like anyone could throw any curveball at me and I'm like, okay, cool. Like what do we do about that? What do we do proactively to fix this? Are you reaction oriented? Like, oh my God, you have cancer. Oh my God. Or are you like, okay, you have cancer. What's next? Let's fix this. You know what I mean? It's that kind of mindset that really changes everything in your life. Do you guys ever wonder how people do the unthinkable? My example is Janelle Summers. 45 plus diamonds, superstar diamond times 3. I mean, there are coaches that tell me that they can't even help someone with Shakeology, yet there are people out there with 45 plus diamonds. Are we meant to compare? Absolutely not. Again, mindset. We're here to realize that people do the unthinkable all the time. These Olympian athletes, I mean, they're absolutely mind-blowing. So do you guys think that these successful people sit there and freak out, or do you think that they actually train their brain? They literally have to train their brain to go in one direction, okay? So as a coach, how many distractions do we have? We work on Facebook. There's so many distractions. There's life, there's kids, there's husbands and wives and everything. And so you have to train your brain to stay on this one track, and I call it the dog syndrome of squirrel. No, you have to stay on track, because if you don't put your blinders on and have your goal set and remember why you're here every single day and stick to that, it's going to be a really long road. And I can say that at one point I started to compare myself and like chase these shiny objects of, well, this person has a blog, I have to do this. And this person has that. No, you have to figure out what's going to work for you and stay on that path. So why is a strong mind even crucial? Like, why should you even care about mastering your mindset? And I can tell you that people without a strong mind need other people to validate them. So I call them silent mentors. Amy Silverman is what I call my silent mentor. Before I had ever met her, she was the person that drove me and pushed me every single day. I'm sure you have someone on Facebook that you follow and that you're so inspired by, right? We can call that your silent mentor. Amy Silverman does not ask for permission. She does not need other people's validation to go live her life. And so when you have a strong mind, you're not going to look to other people for validation. So if you don't feel like you have mastered everything going on up here, I suggest getting on it as soon as we get off this call, because you're not going to need anyone else to tell you yes or no. You're just going to do it. And that is how you're going to grow your business and change lives. So my best recommendations, I kind of have 4 points here on how to master your mindset. I'm sure this book is kind of old at this point now, but it was the book that changed everything for me, and it's You Are a Badass. Now, when you read this book by Jen Sincero, when you read this book, it's not just a book. This is the book that you open the first page and you say, okay, everything I think, everything I feel is a learned belief. And everything that I think is going to happen is my expectations. And so just throw all of that out the window and soak in everything that she has to say. It's not because that she's some god or some guru, but you know when you read this book that she's totally calling you out, and you're just like, yeah, I know, you're right, okay? And she talks a lot about self-love, and part of what we do as coaches is we teach other people how to love themselves in the sense that they deserve a happy and healthier life, right? That's what we do. Some people don't believe that they deserve that. If you can't learn to love yourself, it's going to be very hard to grow a team that you're teaching that to. So that's number 1, read the book, be open and soak it all in. Number 2, I kind of already said this, but it's a daily task and effort. I get so excited that my throat gets so dry. It's a daily task and effort. It takes time. All the learned beliefs that we have today, let's say you're not confident, or people always throw that one out there, I'm shy, right? Okay, as adults, Chalene Johnson says, it's too late and too old to be shy. You're an adult now. You can't hide behind your mom and be all cute. It's time to step up to the plate and own your life, because that's what all of us here as Beachbody coaches are do. We're trying to change lives here. So everything you think and feel, the awesome thing about a learned belief is you can change it. You can rewire your brain. I've done it. It took me probably 8 to 10 months, let's just say a year. It took me a year to actually get that down. And so how do you actually physically and mentally do that? When that like negative thought or the thought that's been haunting you pops into your mind, I need you to catch yourself in that moment and kind of just take a second to reflect and pause. And there's a corny little thing that I did. I actually said the word forward to myself because I immediately started digressing into my old ways and my old thoughts that I was so mad at my boss that she ruined. How dramatic. I'm not going to let her win. I had to reel myself back in and say, no, we're going to move forward. And what can I proactively do to change this little drama going on right now in my mind? It's like this constant battle in our head, right? Just going back and forth. Catch yourself in that moment. All the energy that we put into negative worry and stress is completely wasted. You worrying about how you don't know how you're going to get to 5-star, or worrying about you have no idea how you're going to recruit 5 coaches next month does nothing. It's completely wasted. So I was the biggest worrywart ever. And now when I catch myself doing that little funky thing in my head, I say, go do something that's going to make a difference. Go write a message to someone, go write a post, go read a book, go do something. And so a lot of my thinking started turning into actions in a positive way. And worrying and stressing just gives you ulcers. I know that for a fact. All right, we need to empower you. We need to empower ourselves. I have wedding brain right now. So how do we do that? How do we empower ourselves? Because we hear that all the time. As much as some of you might not want to hear it, you have to start doing things outside your comfort zone. You have to get out of that little bubble, because in order to be inspired or to be inspiring, we have to do things different. And so for me, I'm a dive head in first kind of person. I love immersing in the mysteries of life. I love going into the unknown. I love those thrills, but not everyone is like that. So maybe you just want to take baby steps. All I'm asking is that you do something. Here's a great way to start getting outside of your comfort zone in a comfy area. What is your role on the team page? Are you the fly in the wall that just sits there and waits for the open house to be posted? Are you the fly in the wall that waits for some kind of training or material to be posted? Are you the coach that asks the questions that can be found elsewhere? You have to lead yourself first. Find out what your role is on the team page, and you get to decide that, and lead yourself. Put yourself out there, put yourself up on a pedestal, and that's going to start to make you feel like, oh, I'm doing things. I'm building a business. I'm making relationships with people on this team. I'm making an effort to reach out to people from other teams. Best piece of advice I could give you guys for getting out of your comfort zone outside of your team is when a top coach recognizes a new coach of theirs for something that they've done, go follow their coaches, become friends with them, root them on, and get to know the people in this network. Because you're not going to learn everything from your organization. You're going to learn everything from everyone. And that is like the best thing I ever did for myself. And I started to slowly reach out to people and congratulate them on success. And people started asking me to speak at Super Saturdays. But I mean, that all happened over time. It's not like I just woke up one day and was like, hey, I'm speaking at Super Saturdays. So start empowering yourself. Don't live the victim role of, oh, my business isn't growing. I'm doing everything, quote unquote, right? If you guys don't have the coach reality checklist, I can send it to you guys. It's amazing. It's given me so many kicks in the butt when I feel like I've tried it all, done it all. We haven't. There's no way to ever try it all and do it all. Okay? I always ask rhetorical questions. I realize that's like my thing apparently, but why can some people lose 100 pounds and other people can't even lose 5 pounds? I think it's all because of self-limitation. And it's the same thing in this business, weight or not. That was just the example. Whether it's business or weight related, it's all self-limitation. There is no one holding you with handcuffs and red and yellow tape around you saying, caution, no, this person cannot be successful. You're the only person deciding that. Literally the only person. And there's this 4-letter ugly word called fear that I absolutely hate because just like the book You Are a Badass, she says no weenies. And I tell my team that all the time. I'm like, there's no weenies allowed here. I know you guys want to change your life, but you have to want to change it too. No being shy, to step up to the plate, you have to show up every single day. And so when you understand that fear is emotional, like it's not tangible, fear is also known as your mindset, right? When you understand it's just this thing floating around in your head, then you're just going to start to realize, why was I so scared in the first place? Okay. Do you guys ever look at successful people and wonder, here's another question. I don't know. I just realized after doing this so many times that I asked so many questions. You guys ever look at successful people and wonder how they become more successful? You know, like I think Lindsay Matway at this point has more than 60 plus diamonds. You know, there are people that are in my network that aren't as, you know, blast out on social media as like, you know, Lindsay Matway, but I know that they're successful. And I'm like, what are they doing over there? They just keep getting more and more success. And it's honestly all because of the vibrations that they're putting out there. Everything that you put out there in this world is gonna come back. And I honestly feel like, especially in this business, if you're half-assing it, you're totally gonna get the half-ass results. And good leaders ask great questions. I learned that from John C. Maxwell. So if you're working with your coach and they're like, Colleen, I tried it all, I ask them a bajillion questions and we will find something that we can work on for them. And I do the same thing to myself. I kind of ask myself the questions. I'm like, if I was to get on a call with Doug Moss today or Jeff Hill or my 10-star diamond upline, what kind of questions would she be asking about my business? And do I have the proof to back it up that I'm putting my best effort in? When you accept and trust this process, I will repeat that. When you accept and trust this process of struggle and obstacles and happy tears and sad tears and just accept it all, it becomes a lot easier. I openly embrace challenges, and that's why I'm doing a call 12 days before my wedding, because I like to stack up my plate as high as I can, because when you knock those things off your list, you feel so good about it, and you know you're making a difference in this world. So I was told that I needed to accept and trust the process. And there was a time I was actually a 1-star coach, and I dropped down to Emerald for 4 weeks. I lost my rank. And I was like, I was devastated, and it was affecting my business, and I was letting it get in the way of me. But I'm in this for the long run, so why does that matter anyway? And I had to accept and trust that maybe I wasn't ready to be a 1-star yet. Maybe, you know, I believe everything happens for a reason, and it sure did, because I never went backwards again after that. I learned so much from that experience. Just like Sister A and Sister B, I learned that hard work and that struggle was an opportunity for me. If you can't accept that, you are straight up rejecting success. You're saying, I don't want it. You just have to accept it. And it's in all the books. It's not because Colleen said so. It's in all the books we've read. It's from all the successful people. All right, I'm going to close up with this, and then we can open it for questions. Oh, sorry. I'm all tangled up here. Okay, failure is usually our biggest fear. Usually failure is the reason, or being scared to fail is the reason that most people don't join our teams or they don't join our challenge groups. And the only time you fail is when you quit. So the people that do quit, in my eyes, they're failing themselves. It's not that they failed at Beachbody. They just gave up on themselves, and I feel bad for them, and I move along. I try my hardest to keep them, but hey, I'm not going to spend my time with the negative energy. I'd rather spend my time with, you know, working with the people that want to. And so Mindy Wender taught me in a webinar that I listened to that if you replace the word failure with the word stumble, it sounds so much different. So stumbling is my biggest fear. It doesn't even sound right. Because the only time you fail is when you quit. Let's talk about personal development. And I'll list off some of my favorite books. So if you are not reading and you're not growing, and I mean, there's a million forms of personal development. You can listen to podcasts. And I always tell my coaches, if you're really in this to win this, listen to a podcast before you even get out of bed. If that involves you setting your alarm clock 30 minutes early, do it. Sit there in bed, listen to the podcast. I literally put it on the pillow, like it's plugged in right next to my ear, and I close my eyes and I listen and I soak it up. Because before I get out of bed, that's like the tone for my day, right? When we wake up, our minds are going a million miles an hour, and I want it to be on the right track. Personal development is your fancy little tool belt that you invisibly carry around your waist at all times. And every time that you learn something, you shove a tool in that belt. You might not use it today. You might not see value in what you learn. But if you take our advice of vital behavior number 3 and read the personal development, you will be able to change your life. And, you know, when Sean's cancer thing came up, oh man, did I use a lot of tools in my tool belt that day. I sure did. You know, I had to not freak out and panic. I was in front of his dad. I had to tell his dad the news, and he was getting surgery the next morning, not even 10 hours after the diagnosis. I mean, I had to keep it together. And so look, I got to whip out a tool from my tool belt from reading. So my favorite books, I've already said You Are a Badass. If you feel like you need a push, a shove, a little psh in the face, No Excuses by Brian Tracy is amazing. He taught me it's no one else's job to rank advance but mine. It's no one else's job to grow my income. Just because it's network marketing doesn't mean my income's just going to grow. It's sometimes what it sounds like, right? He taught me it's my responsibility, and I've never pointed a finger since. Life's Golden Ticket by Brendan Burchard is amazing. That's a storybook, so it's actually really fun to read. It's a perspective book. It had me in tears by the end. It was one of those books that made me want to go back and like change a million things in my life. And then the last one is Thinking for a Change by John C. Maxwell. I think John C. Maxwell is great. So if you learn how to master your mindset, you will become unstoppable. You will change your life, especially through this business, because there's no other business in this world, and if you find one, let me know, that can change you in 4 ways: financially, physically, mentally, and emotionally. I haven't found one. I've been trying to find one. But in all those ways, my life has changed. And that's why I'm so proud to be a Beachbody coach. And that's why I'm crazy. So that's my spiel, girls.
All right, awesome. That was like so much great information that I think no matter what level of coach, I know we have a bunch on the call from brand new to, a couple of veteran coaches that it kind of hit everybody. So thank you. And we'll open it up, guys. If you have questions, you want to fire at Colleen and or give her some feedback. I know she'd be willing to stay on a little bit longer. So fire away. Just unmute yourself.
This is a good time to get out of that comfy little zone.
I have a question for you that doesn't have to do with mindset. So I didn't know if someone wanted to jump in first. Well, I'll go. So, like I said, having all these different levels of coaches, what are your daily activities business-wise? I don't know if you want to put a number on it necessarily, but reaching out, following up, inviting, how often do you run challenge groups, that kind of thing, to get or present the business opportunity to keep yourself growing while also fostering a support group for your customers and building your coaches, that kind of thing.
So this is going to be a long-winded answer, but I think it'll be great info for you guys. So my first year of coaching, I sucked at recruiting. I didn't have a team. There was no Dream Corp. That's actually, we're going to hit our 1-year anniversary on July 1st. And business, because I'm like, ew, share of business? That's gross. I didn't get it. Even though it changed my life, I just wanted everyone else to believe it. But you learn that along the way. So a year ago, it was totally different than what it is right now. The mistake I made was I never thought I'd max out 5,000 friends on Facebook, on our personal page. And so I didn't need a like page. And I don't need that, right? We don't listen to anyone's advice ever. Well, I ran into a roadblock in November, and I was like, oh my God, I have 5,000 friends. Half of them are Beachbody. What am I going to do? And so I trained myself not to freak out. And I said, I can be proactive. And I saw an opportunity in growing my like page. So for me, my like page was a huge project for me from November to February. I played around with that a lot. I call this business, like, you have seasons in this business. So every 3 months, your business changes in my eyes. Maybe 6 for some, but probably once you get to like the 3-4 year mark, probably more every 6 months it changes. But for me, every 3 months, I try to have a new project. I try to have something new, because honestly, if I was to tell you guys I do 1 through 10 every single day, that would get boring. And that's not going to, like, that's why this answer is probably going to be kind of long. But the other half, before I forget to say it, is, because you brought it up, is how do I run the support groups and keep all this in line, is delegation. I ran 16 challenge groups, and that got old. I was like, oh my God, I have to do this forever. So you need to teach your coaches, and I got an apprenticeship coach, and I now have my leading coaches or up and coming coaches lead the challenge groups. I'm in there with them. I'm posting, I'm doing all that, but it's their baby, and I let them know that. And so there comes a point you cannot do it all. Does it mean I'm not running a challenge group? Absolutely not, because we're doing it together. I did the Super Life Challenge group recently. That was a hit. And to be honest, I did invest in the book for my group, but I wanted to bring something new. So I delegate to my coaches for challenge groups. My up and coming leaders, they run my Coach Basics. That has a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. Might sound like a big number, but I learned this from Amy Silverman. If you were on her team and you said, Colleen or Amy, I want to grow this business, I am so serious, like I want to retire my husband or my wife, she would tell you that you need to have 50 connections a day with people, whether that's a message, a like, a comment, an adding friends, a something. She'd tell you need 50 of those a day. And so in reality, I cut it in half and I did 25. So when I'm in big time recruiting season, I am commenting or liking or finding new people from my like page. It's a little bit harder on a personal page. I think it's so much easier. I pay $5 a day for 2 weeks a month to get, and I target specific people, a specific kind of person in my niche. And that's how I find new people, because I'm telling you right now that your warm market will slowly forever trickle, because it's like friends of friends of friends, and eventually you get new friends and people delete you, and then new people add you. And so my personal page will never be dead, but if you really want to take this to the top, and how you sit there and you go, I know that there's someone like me out there. I know that there's someone who wants to work from home and do this awesome business, but why can't I find them? That's when I just had to realize I got to use my like page. And so the $5 a day is the best investment ever. I learned about Facebook ads, and I just share when I have a post that does really well. I run that as an ad. And so it doesn't have to be an apply for my team ad. It doesn't have to be buy something ad. You're just paying money to put your word out there. And that's how I've been able to reach more people that way. Are people knocking at my door like Amy Silverman at 40 to 60 coaches a month? Absolutely not. Not like that at all. But I know that I'm creating a following. My goal is by my year 3 to kind of have that rolling in. But I have to create the following. Sorry. Things on my too. I'm so classy. Okay, so I wanted to make sure I did answer your questions. But I wake up every day. I do my podcasts. I really am not a morning person, so my mornings are like whatever I want to do type thing. I always cook. I work out late. I always try to share. I touch my team page every single day. I try to share a thought, an experience, a piece, a resource. And then to stay in touch with my coaches, they know that my number one goal is to create independent coaches. My goal is to make them as self-sufficient as possible from the beginning, and I know that they have to own to their business. So do I work with them? Absolutely. But it's so weird because I don't even do weekly calls with all my best coaches anymore because I've made them so independent. Do we check in? Absolutely. Are they rocking? Absolutely. But I've helped them believe that they can do this at this crazy deep level, and I show them the simplicity of it. Because if you think about what we do, we share on Facebook, we get out there, and when you meet someone at the grocery store, you speak with intention to bring up what you do. Oh, are those strawberries on sale? Yeah, I buy strawberries from my shakes every single week. That's a way to bring up what we do. Oh, shakes? You drink shakes? I can't tell you how many times I've practiced speaking with intention. Sorry, I go on tangents. But yeah, so I work with my coaches, and I set expectations with them and it's clear. I'm like, guys, I will help you hit whatever goals you want, but you have to do the work and the basics. Your goal is to hit Emerald. Your goal is to pay for your Shakeology, and your goal is to help people. Forget about this icky business word, because I hated that when I was a new coach. I just make it fun and simple. Simple doesn't mean easy, but simple for them. And I feel like that really helps. But yeah, mainly I have 25 connections a day when I'm on it. This last month, being honest, there's not been 25 connections a day. Did I answer some of that question?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we kind of, we follow the daily disciplines and all that. And you're like, okay, if I'm reaching out to 5 people and just kind of getting different perspectives from different coaches, that are doing well, of how often they're putting the business opportunity in front of people, or how often they're, making these real life connections. So yeah, absolutely.
I guess I should also add, almost every single post is about, like, I use keywords: superfood shake, workout, fitness, health, life-changing, business. Like, I use all the things that Beachbody encompasses in keywords, so they're not like Beachbody, Shakeology, 21-day fix. Like, anyone can go get Beachbody. Beachbody's not your brand. I'm saying this to everyone. Courtney, I know you know this. You're like on the screen, so I feel like I'm like barking at you. But you are your brand. Beachbody's not your brand. And so I knew that before, but like there was a point in my business where I heard that and I was like, ew, yeah, I don't want to sound like that. That is the icky part of this business. And so I just always share what coaching has done for me every single day. Stephanie Davies is really good at that. And that girl has gone from A to Z in like a year. Holy crap. She's probably going to be the next 15 star. Making insane money, has a huge team, love what she does. And she brings up coaching in every single post. She talks about that vision and that dream life. And so that's a huge part of my day, is surrounding my day and my posts around that. Okay. Sometimes I forget the obvious.
Anyone else have questions for Colleen?
Did I mute myself? Hi, Colleen.
Hi.
It's Jessica. Congratulations on becoming a 5-star.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. I just had a quick question, because we have a lot of new up-and-coming coaches on our team, and I was just wondering what you say to your coaches who are brand new. They've just decided the business is for them. They're starting to make some announcements about it on social media, and they're nervous because they don't know everything about the actual business end. So what is your advice to a brand new coach?
I definitely keep it simple. So when I talk to them, I say, I don't want you to look at this as, oh my God, I just opened a business. I'm doing. I help them have belief and courage that this is going to be okay. And everyone starts at point 0. And I did this without training. And I think in a way that helped me. So I tell them, I say, look, I've handcrafted stuff for you that I know will help you be successful. Don't overcomplicate it. All I want you to do is, there's 3 things that I tell them in the beginning. I want you to craft your story. As new coaches, as tenured coaches, I personally believe you helping a coach craft their story and share that, like down to the words, for their first couple times, will help them so much, because they don't even understand what they're supposed to be doing yet. So I tell them, we're not going to overcomplicate this. Your first goals are to hit Emerald, which is helping 2 people drink Shakeology. You got that. No problem. If you put it up to this big, huge, scary thing of being an Emerald coach and you need to do it in 30 days. I mean, Emerald is so easy, but we kind of make it scary sometimes. And so I really help them understand, you got this. It's all good, because it's easy. And then I make sure that they engage in the team page. If they're not showing up in the team calls or watching the recordings, I know, I feel it. I'm kind of crazy and I know. And so I ask them to engage. Super Saturdays are all fine and dandy, but to be honest, I live in the middle of nowhere, and going to the small ones doesn't get me as pumped up as going to the big ones. So I really try to work with them and get them to an event, because I know, and we'll plan 6 months for them of what they're going to be doing. I help them live in the future of their future life. So that's kind of why I try to put out there that those feelers for the events and stuff 6 months down the road. I have a welcome email. I do a welcome video. I I do also have a Getting Started Right webinar that Brad and I made over a year ago. That was a lot of work. We basically copycatted Katie Hefner and Brittany Leggett's Getting Started Right webinar. It's a lot of work, but we're still using it a year later because there's no way for us to touch all those new coaches really in the beginning. So that like really helps them. And then the last thing is I teach them the hierarchy of where to go and what to do if they need something. It's not me first. It's in the Getting Started Right webinar. It's sad that I can't remember it right now, but it's post in your team page, ask your Success Club partner, check the FAQs, Google it, YouTube it, like all that stuff, because that's what made me a strong coach. I'm like a Beachbody walking encyclopedia. So, but yeah, that's.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I need to learn how to condense my answers. I suck.
I got one for you, Colleen. For new coaches who are absolutely, just stuck in that fear that I'm shy, I don't know everything. How would you get them to first start with their mindset? And just taking that first step, I think, is the initial first thing that's the hardest for people, especially for new coaches.
Oh, totally. And I think that people just know my personality, and I'm totally honest with them. And if there's any coaches on this call that are trying to work with coaches, if you're trying to be their friend, and I'm not saying be their boss or their mentor and like bark orders, but if you're trying to be their friend and be like, well, yeah, like it's okay, I get it, that's not helping them. So I'm very honest with them because I know that it's going to help them understand that. I ask them, all right, you're scared. What are we scared of? What are they going to say? I'm scared of what people are going to say. So that's when we have to teach them that it does not matter what anyone else says. Like I have a million things in that genre that I go over, but if they're worried about other people, we need to teach them how to boost their confidence. If they're working on their fitness and their health and their PD, that's going to come in time. It could come as fast as a week, a full turnaround. I help them craft a very simple, easy little post. And I'm like, will you do this for me? Test it out, and if you absolutely hate it and it does nothing, you can delete it. I don't care. Let's work on this, because guess what? If you believe me and you trust me to help you grow this, I'm going to tell you that if you tell someone that you're trying to make a positive change and you're excited to change some lives, it's not that you're excited to drink Shakeology. It's not that you're excited to go, that you just bought a challenge pack. Like, we don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about the lifestyle part of it. And they're very comfortable usually in sharing that. And if they're not, occasionally I do get that, I ask them to share it in the team page. And then the team just eats them up and they love them and they kiss them and they love them. And then they're like, well, this is the best thing ever. So I'm just so real with them. And I'm like, I want to help you. It's just going to take that little step. Let's start here. You're not going to know everything about the business ever, 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 ever. So don't worry about that. So I want you to, like, it's literally a 1 day at a time thing, or you can even do like 1 week at a time. I tell people, give me 30 days and I will change your life. And I just have that confidence now because I believe that strongly in this opportunity. And if you're getting objections for Shakeology or objections for coaching, it's because it's all in your head coming out in your mouth, from your mouth, in a way that they feel it, they know it. I believe in this times a bajillion. So for me, I'm like, if you show up on my team calls and you hear these stories and you're willing to just kind of follow this process for 30 days, like, they're not going to go back. So the team environment's really huge. But here's my last little quote for you guys. Everything we want is on the other side of fear. So when they come up with, a lot of people don't even come to my team and say that they're scared anymore. Because they know that I'm just going to call them out on their bluff. I'm like, we're not asking you to jump off a bridge here. We're asking you to, like, be really excited to change your life. So everything we want is on the other side of fear. So anytime something's scary and your palms sweat a little bit, that means we're doing something right. That's it.
Anybody down there got a question?
Hi, doggy.
Hi, Newt.
I don't even know where mine is.
Anybody? Last call. If you think of them, or as you're going back over, you watch the video again and you think of them, write them down, shoot them in our team page, and we'll shoot them over to Colleen. maybe we'll give her a little break since she does have a wedding coming up next week. But
Yeah, don't message me right now. Message me after like July 5th.
yeah, we'll talk to you at Summit.
Okay.
I'm just going to take a screenshot. I have it in the gallery view, so if anyone wants to smile or do something funny or wild, now is your chance. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right. Rose, you're good to sign us off there? All right. Thanks, everyone. Colleen,
Thanks so much, everyone.
so much.
See you guys later.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye, everyone.